What did Jesus do during the 3 days before his resurrection? First, we need to understand the difference between the soul and the spirit. 1. Why the soul is immortal, created in God's image. Genesis 1:27 says that God created man in his own image. This means humans were given a spirit like God, eternal, conscious and morally aware. Our physical bodies may die, but the soul, being of spiritual nature, does not. Not made of perishable matter. The soul isn't made of material things like the body. Physical things wear out and die, but the soul is from God and shares his eternal nature. Ecclesiastes says, Ecclesiastes 12:7, the dust returns to the ground it came from, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. Jesus' teachings confirm it. Jesus said, Matthew 10:28, do not be afraid of those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. This shows the soul continues after the body dies. 2. Why the soul will be judged by God. Soul holds moral accountability. God made us with free will to choose between right and wrong. With that freedom comes responsibility. Hebrews says, Hebrews 9:27, it is appointed for men to die once, and after that comes judgment. God is just. A just God cannot overlook sin, nor ignore righteousness. Every soul must give an account of how it lived. Romans teaches. Romans 14:12. So then, each of us shall give account of himself to God. What we do in this life affects our eternity. In the book of John, Jesus says, John 5:28-29, the dead will rise, those who have done good will rise to live, and those who have done evil will rise to be condemned. Judgment reveals where the soul will spend eternity, either with God or separated from him. The soul is immortal because it comes from God and shares in his spiritual nature. It will be judged because God is holy, just, and holds each person accountable for how they respond to his truth, especially the gospel of Jesus Christ. How to explain the Spirit. Think of your being like a smartphone. Your body is the physical device, what you see, touch, and move around. Your soul is like the operating system, your thoughts, emotions, personality, and will. Your spirit is the Wi-Fi antenna. It's what connects you to the source, and the source is God. Now, just like a phone without Wi-Fi can still work, you can live with just your soul and body. But without that spirit connection, you're cut off from updates, guidance, and the powerful presence that makes the whole system thrive. The spirit is the bridge between the soul and God. It's the part of you that logs in to the divine network. When your spirit is alive and connected, God's presence flows into your soul, shaping your thoughts, emotions, and desires. That's how transformation begins, not just from the outside, but from the inside out. So in short, body equals device, soul equals software, spirit equals Wi-Fi, God equals network source. Without the spirit bridge, the soul cannot connect to its true home. Many wonder what happened to Jesus between his death on the cross and his resurrection 3 days later. The Bible gives us important clues that help us understand where he went and what he did during that time. Jesus and the abyss. In Luke 8:26-31, Jesus meets a man possessed by many demons. The demons beg Jesus not to send them into the abyss, which is also called the bottomless pit. This is a place where demons are imprisoned, a kind of spiritual prison. Later in Revelation 20:1-3, we learn that Satan himself will be locked in this abyss for 1,000 years during Christ's millennial reign. So the abyss is a real spiritual realm where evil spirits are held in chains. Jesus descended into the abyss. Paul refers to this in Romans, saying, Romans 10:6-7, "Do not say in your heart, who will ascend into heaven, that is, to bring Christ down, or who will descend into the abyss, that is, to bring Christ up from the dead." This tells us that after Jesus died, his soul descended into the abyss, the realm of the dead. Peter confirms this in Acts 2:29-32, explaining that King David had prophesied that Jesus' soul would not be left in Hades and his body would not decay. This shows that Jesus truly died. His body lay in the tomb and his soul went to the underworld, but he rose again on the third day. Jesus himself had said in Matthew 12:48, "As Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish, so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth." So during those 3 days, Jesus was not just resting, he had a mission. What did Jesus do in the underworld? Jesus did not go to the abyss to suffer or be tormented. Instead, he went there to proclaim his victory over sin, death, and the powers of darkness. He declared to the imprisoned spirits, fallen angels, and demons that their judgment was certain. He freed the righteous who had died in faith, like Abraham, and were waiting in what's often called Abraham's bosom. They could not enter heaven until Jesus' sacrifice had been completed. He led them into God's presence. In Ephesians, Paul describes this. Ephesians 4:8-10. When he ascended on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts to men. He also descended first into the lower parts of the earth. This means Jesus not only conquered death, he took authority over the spiritual realm and equipped his church with spiritual gifts. Who were the spirits in prison? In 1 Peter 3:18-20, Peter mentions that Jesus preached to the spirits in prison, who were disobedient in Noah's time. This may refer to 1. Rebellious angels, possibly the ones who sinned before the flood, see Genesis 6 and Jude 6. 2. Human souls, those who rejected God during Noah's time, now waiting final great white throne judgment. Jesus' message to them may not have been one of salvation, but rather a declaration that he had triumphed and that the promises of God were fulfilled. Summary. After Jesus died, his body was placed in the tomb, while his soul descended into the realm of the dead. During this time, he proclaimed his victory to the imprisoned souls and set free the righteous who had died before his resurrection. On the third day, his soul reunited with his body, and he rose from the dead, triumphing over sin and death once and for all. This part of his mission demonstrates his complete authority over life, death, and the spiritual realm, and it assures us of the eternal hope we have in him. In the Old Testament, the soul went to Sheol, a place where both the righteous and unrighteous awaited. It was a place of awareness, though not of praise, as the dead could not worship the Lord in that state. The thief on the cross was promised paradise, showing that the redeemed now enter God's presence immediately after death. The graves were opened, allowing the righteous souls to enter paradise. Before Christ's sacrifice, people were held captive, their sins only covered by animal sacrifices, not fully cleansed by Christ's blood. Jesus preached to both the righteous and the unrighteous, even as far back as the days of Noah. For believers today, when we die, our souls go instantly into Christ's presence, just like the repentant thief on the cross. While our earthly bodies decay, we will receive glorified, resurrected bodies when Jesus returns, just as his own body was raised, never to see decay.